The top photo is likely a learning setting, and the lower photo depicts students in a testing mode. The focus and concentration level observed in the testing setting depends on the factors that were in play during instruction. Was there hands-on, interactive learning with immediate feedback? Did the instruction engage the students? Will these students be able to focus, reason, and think on a written exam in order to problem solve or determine correct answers? Ideally, successful pedagogy has been applied. Discourse between the teacher and students as the teacher models the lesson or verbalizing. The students prove their understanding by visualizing the concepts in their minds or what is happening, and finally, they have validated their learning by problem solving in written assignments. The three-letter V's, verbalize, visualize, validate, do build thinkers who not only pass tests but become those happy, motivated, productive members of society. Building thinkers, if prefaced by acknowledging that all higher math builds on three elements, the elements of enumeration, sets, and functions on sets, agreeing that math is a truth, an absolute, we can now parallel the steps of building a house with the essentials of instructing the basic math elements. First, the rebar, equated with enumeration. Next, pouring the cement, or identifying and making sets. And finally, performing functions on those sets. Now we can establish the corner framework of space, time, energy, and measurement. Do you remember? Do the mosaics recognize absolutes? No. Then how can they think mathematically? This presents the challenge of building on earthquake-ravaged ground. Let's liken building a house to planting and growing a math tree. Is there a solid ground on which to plant, to build? Next, we need to consider the hierarchy of education. Independent math consultants, administrators, and university personnel can look at this from a strategic viewing point. Observing the form of an inverted pyramid, we can see that a heavy weight is being borne by teachers and kids. We understand that the test at national level is driven by certain standards or expectations. The states then develop a curriculum to implement the test. Districts must coordinate all the dictates so listed, plus keep their public informed, and in some cases placated. Finally, we reach the bottom, with schools being manned by teachers and populated by students. Teachers must instruct according to the curriculum, plus they must ready their people for formal testing, all the while bearing the burden of meeting human needs of love, discipline, motivation, self-control, worth, and acceptance. Imprinted upon the capable, caring mind of the teacher is this statement of fact. Kids are real people with real needs, going into a real world to live a real life. This is why instruction must be relevant and inspirational. And herein lies the real challenge. Are these kids seeing the concepts in their minds? Does their language reveal an understanding of the basic concepts? Are they putting knowledge into effect in everyday life and solving problems? Have they mastered the elements of math? And is fluency demonstrated in their oral and written work? In our rush to move students into higher level thinking and testing at the abstract level, we can shortchange the factors just mentioned. Let's say that a typical classroom with the needs just mentioned would fit in between the outer limits of these two ADHD children. Here we note a hyperactive student on the left and a hypoactive student on the right. Recalling our slide depicting the world in which we live, one of high-tech, mass media, and hurry, we can see that this could become fertile ground for excessive stimulation in kids who are out of tune or tuned out. In the current classroom setting, or the now world of education, we consistently hear these teacher comments. They say, Kids have a short attention span. They're not listening. They seem to be in another world. A teacher must tend to these deficiencies as well as teach content. Next, let's look at a scientifically tested way to work with ADHD kids.